I'm that girl who wants to remind you to release all that no longer serves you, and ask your teams and guides to be able to give you the most profound and important and significant upgrades that you need to be able to assist you at this important time. No one can do that for you, right? If you're using your free will to assume someone else is going to pick up the slack for you, or someone's going to heal you or love you or upgrade you, fun times ahead for you, right? Because we need to be responsible for our own actions and our own mindsets and our own intentions and agendas. And when we're holding on to certain things that don't love us, don't serve us anymore, such as love, it kind of was an interesting experience for me to discover someone that I've done sessions with who still hasn't come to the realization that loving themselves is actually quite an important requirement to be here of service right now. When you are still dousing yourselves in copious amounts of wine daily to distract you and numb you from the world, you're not loving yourself. You're in fact poisoning yourself and disconnecting yourself to thinking. And so you are in a brain fog of overindulgence in terms of swelling the brain because of your sugar infused drunken stupor and blackout. And so there's that, right? We've all been there at some point or another, and it's choices that we make. But what are you doing still that are no longer serving you? What habits are you doing? And what are you sort of justifying? You're sort of choosing one or the other, right? Self-empowerment and love doesn't equal regular blackouts. Okay, so it may sound like judgment, but it is not serving you. And I see those people who are using those kind of, the drugs and the alcohol as their vices and devices to kind of distract themselves, and they think that they're empowering themselves in one way. It really doesn't. And so the stepping stones that you must take to be able to start loving yourself looks like this: honoring the body, honoring the mindset. And, I know that some of you will be like, well, Jesus made wine into water, and so therefore I'm just, drinking Jesus juice, which is just, mostly water, Joe. You always say to raise, I bless my wine. Yeah, that's not really funny, because you're actually still being a dick and you're not empowering yourself, right? So let's be honest, let's be mature, and let's be sensible with what you're actually doing to yourself and to others. Because when you're trying to be of responsibility to support others and help others along the way, how can you do it when you're still sort of like mostly hungover? It's a choice. And at some point, you're going to realize that it doesn't serve you, right? It doesn't serve you, hasn't served you for a really long time, but it's kind of a habit and a routine that you've sort of got stuck into, so we can accept and respect that, it's all choices for you. But when we know that people are desperately wanting to empower themselves and get better connections to their teams, that's kind of how you do it, right? By clean thinking and clean eating, and actually be responsible and loving yourself. And loving yourself is really super important. I can't express this enough. And it kind of confuses me now when people come into sessions and, they have been listening to this work for a really long time, and they've never realized that when they have heard the collective say, love yourself, they actually mean it. It's not really like, well, I could be really super high vibrational, but still not love myself. You have to be able to follow their recommendations to be able to get to where they're wanting, where you're wanting to get to. And if you're still refusing to love yourself and honor yourself, you're really limiting yourself in the most profoundest of ways. Okay, so it really weighs so heavily on my heart when I meet these people and connect in with these people, to realize once again, they haven't taken the very first step in their spiritual evolution, whatever journey, loving yourselves. So what is holding you back at this point? If you've listened to any sessions, have you not realized that the information that has been delivered through the sessions is actually directed at you? No one else, no one else in the room. You're being guided to listen to these information in these sessions for a really significant reason. So have you noticed that? Have you realized why? Have you suddenly discovered why? What the purpose, what the significance of you listening to this information is? Hope so. I hope so for your benefit, because otherwise it just feels like it's a wasting your time, potentially. So, I don't do this work just to waste my time. I definitely do this work to be able to reach in, to be able to pull out information from the collectives that's the most appropriate for you all. And when most of you or some of you are still not loving self, that's the information that they're still going to try and remind us, right? So the whole rest of the group is still waiting for you to start loving yourselves, so then they can move forward with the most appropriate other bigger information. And so it's kind of dragging down the information. I can get great information from private sessions, but when it comes to public information, they're wanting to scan who's listening, and they're going to remind you all what you need to be doing to be able to help and be of service. And so this is why they keep repeating, love yourself, release all that no longer serves you. Noticing the trend. If you're sick of hearing them repeat themselves, make sure you're inspiring others to listen and apply the information and move over those stepping stones. Because really, if your biggest sticking point right now is loving yourself, great news, it can be overcome really, really, really fast and simple and easy. And as soon as you start empowering yourself, you can advance at quite a rapid rate right now. Okay, so embrace and empower and love your journey to get you to where you are today. And now moving forward, how are you going to take the responsibilities to be mature with your choices to honor yourself and others? It's like, think about love as oxygen. You're on that plane, it's hurtling down to the earth. You've got a whole bunch of people that you're responsible for, and you've got one of those like face masks with oxygen, right? You're supposed to give yourself the oxygen first to then be able to assist others and keep yourself, lucid and not black out, and actually be of service to help other people. And so if you think about that love oxygen tank as love for yourself, to be able to empower yourself, to be able to help others, you can really see how that sort of fits into a sort of a mansplain justification of it, right? So it's super important. And this is what it seems really hard for a lot of beings, is to actually focus on self. Oh, it's so selfish. Oh no, I've heard, Joe, people have said, oh no, actually serving others, self-serving is selfish. And my guru told me that I shouldn't be focusing on myself. It's so selfish and self-indulgent, and I should be just helping other people. With what fucking tool set can you help other people with? Because you don't know what lack of love looks like. You don't know a whole lot of stuff because you haven't actually done any of your own inner work, and yet you're supposed to be a wonderful leader and guru to other people when you've done nothing to yourself, for yourself, to improve yourself, to empower yourself. Okay, that's a choice. And maybe what you're going to see is a lot of people growing above you, beyond you, faster than you, because they are actually knowing that to truly empower yourself, you must at that core level love yourself and heal. And so I know lots of people still have daddy issues and they're not even alive, or mummy issues and they're not even alive, or something, right? My teacher said this, my first boss said this, oh, my first boyfriend said this. Cool, that's cute, that's really hard, great lessons there. What are you going to do with it now that it's 50 years in the past? Just asking for a friend, what are you going to be doing about it? Right? Because if we're still sort of blaming other people's statements and from things 20, 30, 40, 50 million years ago, how are we growing and empowering ourselves today? Right? So you're still living in the past and looping with all of these challenges of how your life kind of was in control, and now you're just, blindly blacking out because you're drinking way too much alcohol. We've all been there, so it's not judgment, but it's time now for everyone to really settle up and buckle up. If you've had your own sessions, seriously, the information from the sessions does want everyone to drink, right? Holy shit, it does, because it's just too much. I ate for the first year of listening to all these sessions and this information, and I kind of try to stuff my inner feelings with, you know, lots and lots of things that were not good for me. And, you know, that's a choice. Probably wouldn't recommend it for anyone's fat pants because it becomes a quite tight stretch. But, you know, that was my journey, and I grew from it, and I know that it didn't serve me. So I can't justify it. I knew that it was all my responsibilities, and that's how I processed and coped with things. We're doing everything in the daily, our routines are how we can cope with things, right? But is it how we used to cope with things? Is it how we should cope with things? Choices, right? So what are you going to do to empower yourself to love yourself? And if you're thinking, oh, I love myself with my wine, maybe ask in a session what your subconscious thinks about your alcohol consumption. If you're still thinking that Jesus juice that's blessed with water is still going to help you be the best service for humanity. Potentially the subconscious may agree with me and think that it is interesting choices, that you're trying to numb yourself and that you're resetting your emotions, and you're not actually facing those fears and actually exploring them and overcoming them and not ignoring them. Basically, when you're trying to use alcohol or drugs to ignore things, you're just putting that mask on. And I know many people that are still thinking that their ayahuasca experiences or whatever are the best way for them to connect into their teams. Okay, they will not say that. They will not say that. No subconscious will be like, yeah, get fucking shit face. I love to see you in that realm. They don't say that at all. They actually are confused why you don't realize that you're very powerful to be able to actually connect in with them naturally without any substances. In fact, you're abusing the body to then claim that you're going to catch up with them. It doesn't really work out, right? But it's so trendy right now to spend, lots of money going on a trip to, meet your guides and have a situation where you shit your pants and vomit everywhere. That's cute. But in terms of free, and you can shit your pants in the comfort of your own home if you want to, if you need that experience with your subconscious, they can make it happen. But I have been able to, and most practitioners are able to ask the subconscious to be able to give the clients the sense of returning home or going to source or even being on the new earth. And so you get the luxury of having these conscious mind experiences and these energy experiences without having to do certain things that you assume is the only way there. And I know many people who have had ayahuasca experiences and think it's the best ever, and then they can't actually have sessions because they have this assumption that they have to be so disorientated, so half vomiting, clenching your butthole to be able to be really connected in with Jesus. So yeah, it's just I feel disappointed in some regards, I'm going to be honest, because loving yourself is really important. And when you love yourself, you stop becoming super thirsty attention whores to other people, and you stop sort of doing a whole lot of things to sort of, meet your needs. Because you're still trying to get other people's attentions and other people's appraises and a whole lot of other sort of stuff, right? So you're still kind of being part of the problem in some regards. When you know that you can be self-sufficient, when you know that you can spend the time to go within and be able to pull out one word from a sense, or, if you've actually done that and you know that it works, you can pull out one word of a sense and understand that that's the message that they want for you to deal with at that time. Why not then ask for a concept? Why not then ask for something more? Use your free will. Lots of people refuse to spend any freaking time meditating or going within, like they're allergic to it. And it's so easy to do it. And you have to keep putting in the effort and the integrity and the intentions to be able to do it. But many of you are not really that motivated to do it. And I want you to ask yourself why, because it's so interesting to me why you're not wanting to really empower yourselves at this point. We have got so much epic things just about to come and happen for humanity. And are you really mature enough to process it and to be of service? Or are you going to be freaking out like everyone else on that plane that's plummeting to the earth? Or are you going to be calm and steady because you've already prepared yourself emotionally and mentally for what's to come? And, you know, quite a lot of the sessions that I'm doing now is saying this to people. It's not the freak out of the lack of the food, or, you know, the lack of internet in some cases, or lack of power in some cases, or, you know, the natural disasters. That's not even the hardest thing at all. It's not even a factor. The factor is mindset. So many people trip into fear and get super, super, super scared. And so when you love yourself, you actually start honoring and loving your guides as well. So would you disrespect your subconsciouses? Would you? Because, you know, they are spending 24/7 loving you and supporting you constantly. And kind of, it's sort of like giving them the middle finger when you don't love yourselves, right? Because they're loving yourselves. They're loving you heaps. They're doing everything possible in their high frequency vibrations to be able to empower you. And yet many of you can make choices to dismiss that. You're not playing your role. You're sort of not stepping up and doing your own duty. And, you know, you'll know who I'm talking to. So, you know, we've all been there, right? So moving forward, now that you've just had this sort of little pep talk, little sort of peer pressure to really stop and really look at your behaviors and really see what is serving you and what is no longer serving you. And, you know, using your free will before you go to sleep at night, or before you have your naps or whatever, just lay there and seriously ask your teams, I would like now to have any upgrades that I need. I would like you to help me release anything that no longer serves me. Using your free will to be able to get this guidance. If you don't like those words, cool. Use your own words. Ask still your teams to connect in to be able to help you, to heal you, to guide you, to upgrade you, to do anything that you feel like you need. And even ask them, is there anything else that you feel like I need? Connect in with them. Stop ignoring them. It feels like a lot of the subconsciouses are so desperately wanting you to have your sessions because you constantly ignore them, or you've done a few sessions, but you just ignore them outside of the sessions. You'll honor them for that one time, for that session, but then you pretend that they don't exist the rest of the time that you're listening to the sessions or avoiding listening to the sessions or whatever, right? So remembering that when we have had those challenges, you know, with the parents or with the teachers or with the boyfriends and blah, 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 blah. Why did we have those experiences? That's right. To empower ourselves, right? The really shitty, hard challenges were all to empower ourselves out of that situation, right? Not to break us. It was supposed to be stepping stones to be able to push us so much that we became enameled, toughened, right? That didn't break me. I'm going to empower myself. And when you start having that perspective of every shitty fucking thing that's happened to us being part of empowerment, you know, and this is why we have to look at ourselves. And it's not selfish to actually go through all our inner work and crap and actually make sure that, you know, we don't have any big limitations that are holding us back, including loving self. So, you know, there's so much to be said about that. So it's very interesting what these gurus and influencers are telling us, because when we explore it in sessions, it actually is quite a strong, firm disempowerment. Now, why would someone want to try and disempower us? Why indeed, right? So is it because of their ego? Is it because of their attachment to their position? Do they want you to keep paying them and following them and just mindlessly, you know, being guided and led on their little journey themselves? If they're not doing enough of their own inner work, you're only going to be getting that representation of it, right? So if they're saying it's selfish to do inner work, does that mean that they haven't done any of their own inner work? And really, who are you following, and what kind of state of mind, and how do they really truly live? You know, are they getting blottoed every night and blacked out and, you know, using shitloads of cocaine? What are they doing to serve themselves, to be able to honor their connections to their teams and all that sort of stuff, right? So many fascinating things to think about in this important time. So If you haven't already, I highly recommend listening to the Ashtar and the Arcturian collective information, because they wanted to impress quite firmly with the draconians, certain draconians, not all draconians. It would be pretty ignorant of us to assume that all collectives, all beings from a certain collective are assholes, right? Just like humanity. Not all of humanity are assholes, just a some of them, right? We honor and respect some of those assholes because, you know, they are trying to enamel us to grow and empower ourselves. So that is the end of my potty lecture, my potty mouth lecture today. So interesting times, interesting times. Again, I would love to be able to impress on you with so much peer pressure to love yourselves. I'm just going to be fucking selfish and say it. I want you to love yourself just for me. Okay. If there is no one else and there's no other reason why you want to love yourselves, just do it for me. Total peer pressure, right? Because how dare I? Oh, so hidden agenda coming out now. Oh my gosh. Oh no. I want you to empower yourselves and love yourselves and be kind to yourselves and uplift yourselves and have high vibrations so you can feel the grace and joy of what it is to be in high frequency vibrations in this very intensive 3D time, to be able to be the grace and joy for others, to be able to assist and love with compassion and humility. I don't know that word. To be able to not judge, even though I know it sounds like I was fully judging today, but it's not judgment. It is observations of some people's behaviors to still choose to disable themselves, limit themselves. And, you know, it's so easy. It's so easy to step up and start loving ourselves, to be of service, to be able to truly heal ourselves, truly heal ourselves. It's not a hobby. It's not just in the weekends or on birthdays. It's a true life process. We don't have much time, my friends, to muck around. And we're here to be of service. And, you know, I can feel the pressure of our collectives really wanting us to really just take account and stock of what we're doing in our routines, what we're doing to ourselves and what we're doing to others. So, think about future yourself and how you're going to reflect back and see how much of a great impact it's going to be for you to truly step up, truly love yourself, truly, and be able to then realize that you're not taking from others, you're not draining others, that you're truly empowering yourself. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. It's hard. It is definitely hard, but have your own sessions if you can't figure out how to love yourself, or you're wondering why you can't love yourself. There may be a sticking point there that you actually consciously can't reach. So interns are free. Shocker, I know. Fantastic value for money. Okay, my friends, I do love you. Please, 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 please take into consideration this information, because I know that for some of you, this will deeply apply to you. And you know, can you stop being assholes to yourselves for a minute or two? Okay, I love you. Have a fantastic day. And please think about choices.